a piñata. And this piñata is going to be a big orange pumpkin. And to start with, you need to get yourself a punching ball. So this is just a plain punching ball that I bought for $1 and took the string off of and blew it all up. So it's nice and sturdy. It's not a regular balloon. It's a lot thicker. And then you're going to need a bowl or something to set it in. And then a whole bunch of newspapers. And I tore these newspapers in pieces about this big. And when you're tearing up the newspaper, tear it this way. Don't tear it this way because it won't tear right. Yeah, it doesn't tear right that way. And it tears really easy if you just tear it like this and then tear these in half. And so get yourself a big pile of newspaper strips. And also we are going to use, now this newspaper strip is too thick. So we're just going to tear that right in half. See how easy that is? And tear it in half again. Okay, and then what else you need is just some plain flour to make the paper mache with and some water. So yeah, I'm just going to add a bunch of water to this flour to make a paper mache paste. And I love the smell of this. Yeah, maybe that is a problem with the old glue sniffing. Oh yeah, that smells great. But you want it to be kind of watery. So we're just going to keep mixing it up. And the clue here is to only make as much as you're going to use at this moment. So we're going to dip the strips in this paper mache, put them on here, let it dry, and we're going to go through this process for about a week where every day I'm going to put strips on here and let it dry. And I usually let it dry outside because it gets really, really dry. And then in the end, after we're all done, it'll be a big fat pumpkin, and we're going to cover it with tissue paper. You'll see. We'll go through the whole process together. So this is pretty much the consistency I'm going to want to use for my paper strips. So you don't want it too thick. Maybe I'll even add just a smidge more water because you want it kind of thin, not too thick, but definitely pasty enough. So this is probably a good consistency. And then all you're going to do is take your paper strips that we have right here, and I think I'm going to take off my Halloween bracelets. Don't get them wet. And dip this in, and then I usually just take my fingers like this and get most of it off and place it on your balloon. Yeah, place it on the balloon. And you just keep dipping and wiping off the paper mache and put it on the balloon. Kids love this. Yep, kids, grown-ups. It probably will take a good week or 10 days if you're diligent about doing it every day to complete the entire project. Because after the paper mache is done, then we put tissue paper on in orange tissue paper and make a jack-o'-lantern out of the deal. So yeah, we're just gonna put this all in. So I have most of it covered, and a couple of tips. Number one, when you put the newspaper on top, the balloon is going to automatically flip over by itself because it's going to be top heavy, so just be aware of that. And second of all, you can see I got a little bit too happy with the old paper mache glue paste stuff, so it's dripping. So I'm just going to take some plain undipped paper and just smooth it over the top to kind of soak that up. Also, remember to put the newspaper in all different directions. You don't have to you really need to be in a whole bunch of different directions because it'll just make the paper mache a lot stronger on here. And so yeah, just soak up some of the excess with dry newspaper and make sure you have the whole balloon covered and you don't have any bare spots. Like I got a little bare spot here. Yeah, so I'm going to be covering that right up right now. Yeah, and if it gets drippy, which it does, then just soak it up with the dry stuff. So at this point, I'm going to probably go around the balloon and put a whole bunch of dry pieces on here because I think I got a little too soggy. Yeah, too soggy. So yeah, I'm going to go over. Yeah, I think this looks pretty good actually. And yeah. And it sticks to the bowl, by the way. It definitely sticks to the bowl because it is, oh, see, you can see here, I have way too much paste. And you want to leave an opening at the top. So actually, I think at this point, I will go around, and I'm going to leave a hole about this big at the top. So you'll see why later. I'll go into that later. So we'll just put these on here. And then I'm going to take it outside, put it in the sun, and let it dry on the patio table. And here in Arizona, it'll probably dry in about an hour. If you're living somewhere else, like Chicago, Illinois, it'll probably take a good 24 hours to dry. So, and remember, start this project well before your party. Well before your party. Like a good 2 weeks. So we'll be back for the next step after this is dry. This is round 2 of our piñata, and most of it's dry. You can see the top of it isn't dry, and it's buckled here a little bit, and it's buckled because I used, the paste was too thick. So I thinned it out a little bit, and I'm not going to paper mache over any of this right now. And I even have a little crack right here, and that's because it's hot here in Tucson. So I'm going to make sure and paper mache over that. So this is round 2. This is round number 3, and after my near disaster, I'm ready to continue. After my piñata caved in, I had another punching ball, and I was able to put it inside and blow it up, and so it sort of semi-repaired itself. So I'm going to do this whole process a couple of more times, because the more times I do it, the thicker and tougher this is to break. So if you have like older, stronger kids, then you maybe would want to, or maybe even adults, you'd want to do this, a whole bunch of times, 4 or 5 times. But if you have younger kids, then maybe only a couple times, because like I said, the more you put this on, the harder it is going to be to break. So yeah, round 3. I'm a little bit behind in working on my piñata to have it done in time for Halloween, for our Halloween party. We left off with the paper mache layers are all done. And then after the last paper mache layer dried, I took pencil and I drew a jack-o'-lantern face. So I drew 2 triangles for the eyes, a small triangle for a nose, and a jack-o'-lantern mouth. And then I took black squares of paper mache, or of tissue paper, and did the black eyes, nose, and mouth first. I also want to mention that I needed to pop the balloon. And my balloon is still in here. It's just shrunk. Yeah, you can see it in there. I'm going to have to pop that balloon before I actually fill it with candy. But I would recommend doing the eyes, nose, and mouth first with tissue paper, and then go through the grueling process of doing all of the orange. You might want to sit down and watch your favorite TV show while you're doing it, because that'll take up a lot of time. So here's how you add the tissue paper to your piñata. So I'm going to turn it to an area that we haven't done yet, and I am going to take my glue and spread it out here. And I cut my tissue paper into squares. So I used black for the eyes, nose, and mouth, and orange for everything else, obviously. And you just take your tissue paper when you cut it into squares, wrap it around your finger, and just put it on like that. Yeah, that's all there is to it. You just do that. And you do that over and 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 over again until it's completely covered. And that's all you do. So we're just gonna, go through that process. Wrap it around your finger like this, see? Put it on the glue. Then you move some more of the glue that way. And just keep doing it. Just keep doing it. And I'll come back and show you what it looks like when it's all done. Yeah. Hopefully it'll be before Halloween. The piñata is finally finished and Halloween is over. So we're here to talk to you a little bit about procrastination and what happens when the Halloween jack-o'-lantern piñata turns into a Hallows-giving or Thanksween piñata. So, piñata's done. Yes. And I didn't actually finish it. I had to recruit my grandchildren to finish the piñata. But when it was all done, we filled it with candy. I took a stick, wrapped a rope around it, stuck it in the top of the piñata, and used that as leverage to be able to hang it from a tree. And then we hoisted it over a tree. Each one of the children got a turn to be blindfolded, spun around, and take their swings at the piñata until it broke. And all the fabulous candy came out, and they got to have candy for Thanksgiving. So if you start your piñata early enough before Halloween, you can have it for Halloween. Otherwise, it could be Thanksgiving, it could be Christmas, it could be the Super Bowl, it could be Valentine's Day, it could be St. Patrick's Day, it could be Easter, it could be my birthday. So anyway, I hope you try the piñata idea. It's really fun to do, and I hope you enjoy yourself doing it. Yeah, piñatas, lots of fun, cool stuff.